Hiya! Hiya! Today I'd like to show you some swatches of my latest paints, as well as watercolor, water-soluble pencils that I picked up in Poland, and I thought I'll mix in a couple of the Gansai Tambis that I already had kind of loose. I bought these as separate pans as well, so I'll add those to the mix just for like completeness, I guess. I also have this white Gansai Tambi, but I won't be testing it because you can't really test white on white. But yeah, I will get into painting in a minute. So I'll just tell you what I'll be swatching. First of all, I recently went to Poland and I visited a couple art supply shops in Wrocław, where I saw Gansai Tambi kind of open stock, and they turned out to be quite affordable, so I got a few pans. They also gave me this box for them, which is really nice, and it comes in like a proper box. So you pick 6 and then you fill up a palette. It's a complete coincidence that I picked 6. I was surprised at the till that they gave me this palette, which is, yeah, just a nice touch. I also went to a shop called Koh-I-Noor, and I've recently learned from one of you lovely listeners, followers, I don't know what to address you as, that Koh-I-Noor is a Czech brand, and I didn't realize that that's what the text on the pencils meant. I thought it was like the type of the pencil, because not all of them do have Czech on it, but it's a brand from Czech. Okay, yeah, and I picked up a few of the water-soluble pencils from that shop, but also all of these Rosa Galleria. Oop, they got stuck. Rosa Galleria watercolors. Again, I probably won't swatch the white one, but I'll swatch all the other ones. And I also got the gold, and I was because I couldn't see inside. I assumed that it was going to be like a green gold, but hoped that it would be like a nice shiny one, and thankfully it is. So that's kind of cool. And I also picked up a Szmal, which is a Polish brand. Szmal make, I think they mostly make watercolors. And this one is, yeah, I only picked up one because I already had all of these Rosa. I would have preferred getting a Polish brand from Poland, but it is what it is. I picked this one up. So I prepared this page for the Gansai Tambi ones, and then I'll do a similar page for Rosa and for the remaining ones. I think let's get into it now. Yeah, I said that and I immediately had a coughing bout, so I just had a drink and a cough sweet. If you hear a weird noise, it's just me eating the cough sweet. Okay, I'm going to start. I probably need a piece of paper towel. Oops. It's been a while since I used watercolors. As you can see, I'm failing big time. Probably chuck this one out because it's making a mess. Oh. You did tell me recently that you prefer me to make real videos, like not cut out the embarrassing bits. And I'll probably leave this in. I don't know. English is hard to pronounce. Yeah, let's carry on as if nothing happened. Going to just wake up the paints by adding a bit of water. It activates the pigment, so I highly, like, if you paint with watercolors, it's a good idea to always, or like gouache, I guess, to wake them up, just to have the pigment ready to use. It just makes it a lot easier to use. So we'll start with lilac, number 13. And it's currently one of my favorite colors, so if not my favorite color. It's very light and probably a bit transparent, but I think it's really a really nice color nevertheless. It's in my current color scheme that I'm using in my 3-color sketchbook, and it's also my favorite sketchbook cover color, so yeah. I use it a lot, and I thought I'll recreate my current color palette in paint format, just so I can not just use I use my brush pens in this color palette, but I didn't have the matching paints. So I think it would be fun to have a different medium to experiment in. I have to say it's a bit underwhelming, but it is light. Like you can see in the pan that it's a bit light. I guess I was hoping for a bit more oomph to it. I just dropped in a bit of water, maybe too much, just to see what happens. Okay, let's do the next one. This one's red. I've added way too much water. I'm trying to get back into watercolors, which is why I'm doing this. And which is why I bought some new ones, even though I have plenty of watercolors. I just thought to revive my passion for watercolor and like to learn a bit more about it, I might as well get some new exciting paints and try them out and see, you know, if swatching them maybe inspires me to use them more. I'm not feeling it yet, but I'm sure it's like with any hobby, it might just suddenly happen that I'll love it. Or not, you know, you just have to try things and see what works. So yeah, I had this one, this was my first Gansai Tambi that I bought from Jackson's Art, I think, online as a trial, and I loved it. It's very pigmented, and this one's kind of the opposite. It's very pastel-y, I guess. I should have expected pastel-y from pastel colored paint. But yeah, I just fell in love, and I then asked for these paints for Christmas or birthday, I can't remember, I think it was Christmas. And I got the whole set of them. But I really like them. They're not necessarily light fast, as I heard from other artists testing that. And they appear massive, but actually they're made in a way that it looks like they're quite deep in the pan, but they're maybe not necessarily that deep in the pan. Because I've used one up, like, I'll show you an example. Like, this is how much paint you get, so it's probably more than a full pan, I would say. Maybe more than that. Like, maybe closer to a pan and a half or two. So still a lot of paint. It just looks like it will last forever. But you know, it will last a decent amount of time. Let's go to the next one. So this was red, then cadmium yellow, number 43. I don't generally use this color, but I want to like learn more about the yellows and reds, so that's why I got it. You can probably tell I don't pick reds and yellows much, but I'm trying. Because you need all the colors if you want to paint realistic stuff. And it's also a good idea to just know a little bit about not necessarily just your favorite things, if that makes sense. I'm rambling. I think I'm still ill, so forgive me if I'm not making much sense or rambling. Although you're probably used to rambling by me. I just had a really nice market day yesterday. It was Winchester Comics Fair. It went really well, and it was an amazing day yesterday. I was selling comics and stationery and stickers, and yeah, it was just a really nice vibe. I met some really lovely people. We were sharing a table with a really cool artist called Aaron, and I can't pronounce their Instagram handle properly, so I won't try and butcher it. But yeah, overall the event was really lovely, and it's like a very inclusive small press event. And my next one is in Harrogate. It will be the, how could I forget, Thought Bubble. It's like a massive Comic-Con in UK. Can't wait for it. But it's a nice, I just decided today I I won't do much. I'll just paint a bit and maybe tidy up the studio a bit, but like trying not to put too much pressure on myself because it's weekend and I've just done a full days of work yesterday while being a bit ill. So I watched a lot of TV. I don't know why I'm telling you this. I guess, feeling the silence. I don't know. Yeah, I watched loads of TV and I'm still recovering, so yeah. So this was greenish yellow. Really like this color. And then yellow brown. I say I don't use lots of yellows. Yellow, 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 yellow. I did buy quite a few. Although you're not seeing any new reds, this is the red I had for a long time. I guess it scares me, I don't know. They all look the same to me for some reason. And that's just because I don't know much about them. If you'd like to know more about colors, in like watercolors especially, check out my friend's YouTube. The YouTube account, I'll link that up in the description if I don't forget, but it's Chromophile. Chroma as like color, as in colors. And yeah, if you want to learn more about like different pigments and things like that, it's the best account I can think of right now that you can check this out. And I'm mentioning it because I need to go back to the video about reds. I'm pretty sure she had loads, so I have to check that out again. I love this blue, ultramarine pale. It's like a sky blue. Blue is something that I recently started getting more into, because I used to only like use indigo and dark indigo and things like that, but not really like proper blues. I guess I just didn't like them for some reason. But I love this shade. And we have a saffron yellow. Again, here's too much water. It's very similar to this, but it's more between like green and yellow, I guess. Really lovely. Especially as this is the color I'm currently using. So I'll show you in a second, maybe that'll be easier than trying to remember them and completely get them wrong. Oh, that was a lot of water. So that's all the Gansai Tambi ones. Okay, through the power of editing, I have magically, well, not really magically, populated all the remaining space for the rest of the samples, swatches. And I'm going to make some space now. Should have done that off camera, too late now. I think I'll put them here just so I can put them into shot while also having the page a bit more visible for you. Okay. I'm not the best at swatching. I always want to improve it and then I always fail. Well, let's wake all the pigments. I always say wake because I don't know, it sounds cuter. I just imagine like the paint is alive and I'm waking it up. I know it's silly, but I don't mind. Okay, and I'll do gold as the last because it's probably going to leave a lot of pigment behind. Okay, give it a second. Maybe I'll populate these I say populate and it reminds me of work. And let's start with dark olive green by Koh-I-Noor. It's called Mondeluz. Never seen these before, so it's kind of a fun new one for me. And I really love how soft they are. So I kind of bought them for the softness, not necessarily for the fact that they're water soluble, but I'm going to test the water solubleness as well. And sometimes I dip my pencil in water, so I'll do that too, and just wait for it. You can probably see how much it changes the color when the water is like on the pigment. The next one is raw amber, which is, I think, the 66, yes. And do the same with the... Some people say it's a bad idea, but I don't mind. Like, that's how I use them sometimes. I quite like the effect. So who cares what people say? Slate grey is the next one, number 72. And again, and I think I took them from two different like places in the shop, like separate shelves kind of thing, but they are called the same thing. So I don't know exactly what the difference is. Not really. And I also have this 155 one that doesn't have the color name on it, which I'm guessing is a mistake in production because it's exactly the same. It looks exactly the same as this one. So it must be the same type of pencil, but it doesn't have all the letters and numbers on them. I don't know why. If anyone knows, then please let me know. This is very close to the Prismacolor pencil that I tried from my friend a while ago, and I loved how I could sketch with that like warm grey, so I decided to get it for that reason. And the nice thing about that shop was that I could just swatch everything that I wanted to try out before committing to buy, which I always appreciate in like physical art supply shops. Not all of them do that, but it's just really nice to be able to know what you're getting, because that's why you go to an art supply shop, to like touch the things and maybe try them out. I don't know, I just think it's nice, adds a nice touch. And then there's this Progresso Aquarelle, again Koh-I-Noor. This one's this color is number 16, and I don't know why some brands and some pencils and pens don't put the color names on their packaging, but they really should, because now I'm just guessing what it is. It's one of the blues, and it's a really nice one. And I, by mistake, I got two very similar ones. I should have opted for slightly different colors, but this one isn't water soluble and sky blue, and I'm guessing this is very similar to sky blue, or sky blue as well. So I'm going to add water to these in a second, but I think my watercolors are already awake, so we'll get to them first. It's really nice. I love a Progresso pencil, and any pencil that doesn't have wood, because they might be a bit more expensive, but when you think about it, all you get is pigment. So that's a really good value for money, in my opinion. Okay, let's start with Roman Szmal. Color is 252, Subgreen Light or Zieleń Soczysta Jasna. And the pigments in it are PY1110 and PG7, and it's a transparent one, I believe. Doesn't mention the light fastness, although one of these letters might be, so I'll show you, just in case some of you might know what these mean. I think I gave it too much time and it started drying out, but let's try it. I love this color. It's very bright. And it's kind of maybe not granulating, but it moves on the page, sorry, really nicely. So I'm looking forward to using this more. Not too much water. Yeah. Szmal is always nice. And then I got a similar color, although slightly different. Olive green by Rosa Gallery. And this is a Ukrainian brand, I believe. Really cool. I think it works really well with this color scheme as well. If there are any like weird and clashing colors that I think would work really well together, let me know in the comments, because I'm currently challenging myself to pick really unusual color combinations, or just like pick any color scheme and stick to it. And I would love to hear your thoughts on these. Yeah, I just want to learn more about color and get better at it. So it would be really lovely to hear if you have any ideas. I probably should tell you what paper I'm using. So it's not an expensive watercolor paper. It's cartridge stock by... I said it and I immediately went blank on the brand. Sea White of Brighton, which is a British brand. It's not the most like... It does warp a bit, but it does the job for watercolors. I've used it plenty of times, and I even painted a lot of my graphic novel on this stock. So it's like a inexpensive, nice air paper. And we have Royal Blue 750. I'll tell you the information. It's 2 stars on light fastness, which I am guessing it's almost perfectly light fast, but not just there. And it's semi-transparent or semi... opaque, I guess. And the pigments are PG17, PY1, PBK7. So green, yellow and black. And the Royal Blue, sorry, I should have said this is the Royal Blue now. It's G, 3 stars. I'm not sure what G stands for on a paint. This one doesn't have a letter and this one does. So G has 3 stars on, I believe, light fastness. And it's semi-opaque or semi-transparent again. PB29, PW6 and PW4. So very common white pigment, PW6, I believe. And so 2 white pigments and a black pigment. And that gives us a blue. Interesting. I'm learning something new. I just made everything dirty. I don't really like touching paint. I know it's not toxic, but I kind of, in my head, I don't know, I just try and avoid touching it just in case it is. Okay, let's try it out. Oops, I already had it on my brush. Really nice rich blue. And I've done it the wrong way around anyway. And it's very similar to Ultramarine Pale, but not the same. And this one has a weird, not weird, but like a nice granulation to it. It's not the strongest granulation I've ever seen, but it's quite nice. Gives it a bit more character, I guess. Okay, let's go to Yellow Ochre. And this one's N, letter N for November, 3 stars, semi-opaque, semi-transparent, PY43, PY42, so both yellow pigments. Add a bit more water, maybe too much, but hey, too late now. I think there's a tiny bit of blue, just messy. Okay. If you're not familiar with Rosa Gallery, they're quite inexpensive at the moment. And I think I've heard them referred to as like very similar to Roman Szmal in that not many people know about them yet, and they are not very expensive, but they might become more popular, and then, you know, the price usually skyrockets as a result. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it's an interesting thing to know, because that's what convinced me to try them. I saw someone mention them. I have this color from Roman Szmal and I don't really like it, but maybe it's time to get reacquainted with it. I just think it's too bright for most of the things that I was using it for before, but who knows, maybe I'll mix it with something else on this from these colors and it will be just perfect. Who knows? I don't know why I don't like it. I like, every time I used it I was like, this isn't for me, this isn't the right color for some reason, but I can't quite put my finger on it. I'm not sure why. Okay, and we have indigo. Just add a tiny bit of water. Indigo is one of my favorite colors, especially dark indigo, but look, this is pretty dark, wouldn't you say? Like, I would call this dark indigo, really. It's super pigmented. I forgot to tell you the last color. So, I probably should finish this swatch first, just to keep them all kind of similarly timed. I'm predicting some granulation to occur in a minute. Let's try it. Some pigments are, what's it called? Staining. So once the paper is kind of stained by the color, they won't granulate. So sometimes it's a matter of doing it quick, like pouring water in quicker to get the granulation and like the blooming effect. Blooming effect is totally made up by me, probably. So don't quote me on that as a professional term. Okay. So the Aureolin, however that's pronounced, has 3 stars. It's opaque and has pigment PY150, so the yellow pigment only. And it's kind of like a double color pigment. I'm not sure like what the properties of that pigment are, but it definitely has 2 colors to it. Like, I can definitely see both shine through, and in a way they're very similar to these 2 colors. So like the saffron yellow is very similar to the lighter bit of it, and the yellow ochre is very similar to the darker one. Not exactly, but yeah, there's some similarity. I wonder if the pigments in them are the same, but I don't think I can see the pigment information of... Yeah, they don't really share pigment information on Gansai Tambi, so I can't really check it. But yellow ochre does have it. 43 and 42, they are different pigments. Okay. And then the details of indigo, 717. 3 stars, semi-opaque, semi-transparent, whatever. PB 15:1. That is I've seen this colon 1 kind of thing before. I'm not quite sure what it means. PV 19 and PBK 7. So it's... I thought B was blue. So it's the blue, violet and black pigments. And indigo is always beautiful. I don't know, it's moody. I'm moody, I guess. Maybe. Okay. And let's do the Koh-I-Noor. And in my usual fashion, I ran out of space. So they're like squashed in. That's just me. I always swatch this way for some reason. So the first one I'll leave as is, and then I'll add water to the second swatches of each. Oh, really nice. It really activates properly. Very interesting. So that's dark green, dark olive green. And then we have raw amber. That goes very bright compared to the original. Interesting. It doesn't activate just as well as the previous one, but still pretty good. We're getting some sun. Wow, you might notice the difference even. Then we have slate grey. For once, I'm not recording in the middle of the night. So you might see the sun changing the light quite dramatically now. Because we had a very gloomy day and now the sun is out. I should have waited to record this. Slate grey. And then we have 455, which I'm not 100% sure of the color name. But it's by far my favorite so far from these Koh-I-Noor pencils. And Progresso. I honestly should have gone for more Progresso because they just will last forever with how much pigment there is. Cool. So that's the Progresso one. And let's do gold now. Ooh, that's already very satisfying. I don't know if you can see that, but it feels like gold should, you know. And the only information I have on this is that it has 3 stars and semi-opaque, semi-transparent. It doesn't actually give any pigment information, which I'm guessing that the gold paints are made differently. Are gold paints actually made of gold? I feel like that's a weird question. Like, is it obvious? I don't know. Am I just dumb for thinking it is, or maybe it isn't? I don't know. Let me know if you're aware of what goes into a gold paint. Is it actual, like maybe lower quality gold, or something like gold dust made out, like left over from making something else? I'm not sure. I've never really looked into it. I'm going to try that gold on black stock because I think it will do really nicely and beautifully. And a good thing I have my black sketchbook to hand. I don't really use it much and I want to use it more. But yeah, let's move that out the way. I think it will do really nicely in here. So these swatches I made for the previous video. I was testing some Polish art supplies that I got given. And a fudenoskę. You can judge for yourself how good it is. Okay. Ooh, that's not bad. In fact, that's really good. Obviously, when I add more water, it goes a bit too transparent, but dry. Or maybe I should try something. You can create a really nice pattern, like, not pattern, texture with it. I love that. I love this gold. I didn't go for the gold in Gansai Tambi, but I probably should have. I'm going to Japan soon, so I'm hoping to pick up some really nice, unusual paints, or maybe just a lot of paints for cheap. Who knows what state of mind I'll be when I reach the shops in Japan. Oh yeah, really lovely Rosa Gallery. Very nice gold. And it covers in one layer, so that's also nice. Definitely much nicer than on the white paper. Okay, I think that's it. We went through all of them now. If you would like me to swatch out every single Gansai Tambi I have. Like maybe you're wondering whether to get them. Like if I had a choice now, I probably wouldn't have picked this set. This is the, I forget the name. Never mind. This is the set. And I think I would have picked a different color scheme. It's not the most versatile, but maybe I'll swap them around. I also realized that because I guess I'm gravitating towards certain colors. I already had this color, and I already had this brown. And I tried really hard not to get the same ones, but hey, it happens sometimes. So yeah, maybe I'll like recreate my palette again. But yeah, let me know if you'd like me to swatch every single one. And I already have a video where I swatched them, like this set, a while ago. So I'll link that up for you. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give me a thumbs up and the usual, you know, subscribe and like. And you can leave me a comment. I always love reading them. I always hate this part of the video. Can you tell? You recently told me that you prefer unedited video because it's a bit more real and fresh, I guess. And I always felt a bit self-conscious about not editing, but I'll try and do it less because, yeah, if you enjoy it more, then why not? I would love to paint something next, so I will share that on like Instagram stories, I guess, if I do. You can find me on Patreon and Instagram as Weird is the Best. I also have an Etsy shop where you can buy my stickers, comics and stationery. And already I have a tote bag on my shop and I'm planning to make more merch. So yeah, you can show support there as well. I'm also trying to grow my Facebook account, which is really annoying but necessary evil because I can't share my products on Facebook without having enough followers. I think they never gave me a straight answer, but I think that's it. It's what it comes down to. So if you could check out Facebook, my Facebook page, Weird is the Best, it would be really, really nice of you to do that and show it a bit of love. It's just something I have to do, but I would find extremely helpful if you could do that. And I'm going to end it here, and I hope you had a lovely day. And I hope you enjoyed this video and the swatching and you found this maybe inspiring, or you know, you learned something about the colors and that helps you pick your own. Yeah, if you have any ideas on the color schemes I could combine, I'm definitely going to I think I might combine these two, indigo and gold, or maybe indigo and aureoline. I think they might do well together. Yeah, give me a shout on the weird color combinations. If possible, mention which ones, which brands and numbers they are maybe. That might make it easier for me to work out which colors you're referring to. I think that would be quite cool to do. Cool. I'll leave you to it. I hope you had a nice time with me and have a lovely day artsing. Until next time, bye!